Alright everybody, hello and welcome. As always, I am Sean. This is In The Mixer as we continue our hashtag United series, our lower league management long-term save of Football Manager 2019. For those of you that haven't watched the first episode, go back and check it out. We go through our squad, our tactic, our entire pre-season. We do a marquee pre-season friendly against Tottenham Hotspur's Academy at the end. And we outline how the series is going to work moving forward. Give massive shout outs to all the people that have contributed and collaborated with us to get ourselves the custom kits, to get ourselves facebacks, the database itself, logos, all that sort of stuff. A ton of different work has gone in for a ton of different people. So go and check that episode out first before you come to this one. But if you have already watched it, super excited. One of the key phrases that gets thrown around way too often in football nowadays is history is being made, but we are actually making history in the game today, playing our first league matches as hashtag United. First of which is against Newbury Forest. Hard to tell who's going to be at the top of the league this season. But if we look at the season preview for the league itself, you can see that we are 1 to 5 odds on favourites for promotion and the championship this year. Newbury all the way down at 50 to 1, so I'd love to get our season off to a decent start, get a good result, get a couple of goals in the bag, improve our goal difference a little bit, and start the season the way we want it to carry on. But we've done more than enough talking in the first episode, and again already in this introduction. Let's get stuck straight into our first match, our history-making match, hashtag United's first league appearance. Alright, so let's have a look at how we're lining up first. Andy Cade Watts in goal, Tom Williams probably hidden behind my head at left back, Jack Harrison at left centre back, Marcus Stamp at right centre back, Farai Singano as our right full back option, Ricky Evans and Lee Hurst at holding midfield, Ryan Adams playing as a 10, Harry Honesty on the left wing, Charlie Morley, who missed out on the game against Tottenham a week ago, on the right wing, and Dan Brown leading the line as our poacher up top. For Newbury Forest, they have Hackett in goal, Cousins and Mason as their central defensive partnership, Kerr and Kenyon as the fullbacks, Chaplow holding midfield, Henderson and Savage ahead of him, Aimable on the left wing, Devonshire on the right, and Iorfa up top. On the substitute bench, we've got Jamie Jackson, Jamil Hakeem, Aaron Couch, Tasha Richmond, and Daniel Adjety. For those of you that haven't watched the last episode, Kane Brogham and Tekas Guru are currently injured, and it is Theo Baker and Ross Gleed that miss out on the bench spots today. But it's a long season. There's a whole bunch of different cup competitions that we're in as well. Everyone will get their opportunity from our group of 20. Let's just passionately tell everybody, go out there and make sure everyone's left into no doubt as to why. Let's also assertively tell our defence. I have faith in them, go out there, make a difference. A few of them respond really positively. That's super important. Lower league management, more often than not, you're trying to outscore other teams, so if it can give your defence a little boost each time, it can help you tremendously. And is this just going to be a kickoff highlight? It is a history-making highlight with our first start to our first game in the league football pyramid. Hopefully we look back on this episode 100 episodes from now when we're in the Champions League and think back to how simple times were back now. I'm just going to update this one to be our league table. Now, as we know, we are jinxed. We do concede quite a bit in the first 15 minutes of a game. I'm hoping this tactic is set up a little bit differently so that we don't come flying out of the blocks and leave too much space early on. Early doors, we have had 2 shots, none on target yet, but they haven't had a shot to speak of. We are currently up at 73% possession, despite playing a counter-attacking style. And we've made it out of the first 15 minutes without conceding, which is a massive plus for us. They got some... Oh, here we go. We do have a highlight now. Singano take a throw in on the right. Played to Lee Hurst. Back to Singano again. Gets a deep ball across. Honesty's in the area, and that is our first goal. History's been made. Harry Honesty with the first goal for hashtag United in league play. Great assist from Farai Singano on that one. This is what I was talking about when we moved him from being a centre-back to being a full-back option. Plays more in the centre in the real-world team, but that's a great cross. Some of the ethnicities in this game, or in this database, aren't quite up to date. But I'll let you pick which ones you think are incorrect and which ones you think are correct. But a great start. We go a goal to the good in our first game. Love to get a clean sheet. Love to get a couple more goals. Some of the names on the other team are absolutely fantastic. Paul Savage, Alan Aimable as a winger. Like, if he's not the best crosser in the game, there's something incredibly wrong. So we are playing a day later than most of the other sides. They would have had Saturday games. And just looking at some of the results from around the leagues, look like White Ensign won their game 4-2. 3 points puts them on top of the table. Holland, who are also playing today, are currently 2 goals up in their match. Still way too early to tell who's going to be at the top end of the table this early in the season. We do have another highlight here, similar to the other one. It starts with a Singano throw-in. Ball comes to Morley, and the ref's given a penalty. I'm not sure what Kerr did there. I don't think we're currently set up to see replays for penalties being given and the fouls that lead up to him. It's going to be Tom Williams to take. He has got a classy left foot. Oh, and the referee saves it. So ignore what I was saying. Referee, the goalkeeper saves it. Ignore what I was saying. Maybe we'll have to take Tom Williams off them and get Dan Brown or someone with a bit more better composure and finishing on them. But from dead ball situations, you'd back Tom Williams at this level. 37-year-old Cypriot international to be putting the ball away every day of the week. Another highlight here, Hackett in the Newbury goal takes the goal kick. It's well headed back across by Williams, who did miss that penalty. Ball towards him now. He's got time to bring it down, and he does. Played to Harrison. Out towards Honesty on the left wing. Do we have a break here? There's 4 players getting ahead immediately. Dan Brown's moving forward, but Hackett comes out well from the Newbury goal and claims that one. And you can see how narrow and how quickly we get into that narrow shape once we lose the ball. It's really good to see. Adams bursting forward now as that attacking midfielder. Plays Morley in. Can he hang a ball up back stick? Brown's in the area. Instead it falls to Adams, who finds Honesty, who gets his strike away, I think on his right foot. And Hackett gets a hand to it, but it's too powerful a strike. And his second goal of the season. Could be on for a first half hat-trick in our first game. It's really intelligent movement with Morley and Adams getting the overload on the right-hand side. Both Brown and Honesty peel off to the back stick just to stretch the defence. Keeper maybe should have done better, but we're playing at level 10. Like, we can't expect too much. And it's a decent strike with his left foot. He will never score with his right. That's how you'll be able to tell it's an actual video game. He doesn't even stand on his right foot sometimes in games. We've got another highlight here. It'll be great to finish 3 up inside the first half. Dan Brown's worked his way in behind. Can he find the finish? It's a good strike, but Hackett pushes it away and Kenyon scrambles it out. It's fallen to Alan Aimable, and thankfully that is the end of the highlight. So 5 minutes remaining in the half. I'm just going to use a shout, and I'm just going to say praise. And we'll see how everyone responds to that. Looks like Lee Hurst's a bit complacent. Tom Williams a bit disinterested. And obviously because he missed that penalty, he's only on a 6.3, not having the greatest game. A few people are fired up. Tom Williams is overwhelmed by the feedback. I'm not sure why. He might be someone that's consistently going to give us issues because he's played at so much higher level. He has played Premier League football and Championship football before in his career, albeit a long time ago. 2 minutes to be added on in the first half. I would happily get us through to half-time with the 2-0 scoreline and then hopefully push on a little bit more in the second half. We haven't seen anything out of Newbury in terms of highlights thus far, and the stat line kind of goes along with that. Let's go into the dressing room and let's just calmly tell them, very happy with the way things are going. No need to overcomplicate stuff. Everyone's responded really positively to that. I want to keep our morale as high as humanly possible. It's a long season. We're still early in it. Being that my reputation is a Sunday League footballer, I don't have the greatest, like gravitas or weight behind what I say to the playing group just yet. It'll only be once we've won things and I secure my status as being like a favoured personnel with #United that, what I say will become gospel and everyone will be on board with it. So fingers crossed we can put some decent results through early. Looks like Charlie Morley's picked up a knock, which is really disappointing. He did spend some time in pre-season out injured. We do have like-for-like swaps in both Aaron Couch and Tashan Richmond. I'm going to give Tashan Richmond a little bit more time. And I'm just going to tell him, I have faith in him, get out there, make a difference. He has responded really well. He's got excellent morale for a guy that's not really starting that many games. Certainly didn't in pre-season. Did play 90 minutes in the game against Tottenham under-18s. And no one set the world on fire for us in that match. We lost at 1-0. But didn't have a bad game. Certainly an able body to call upon. Probably another level ahead of the likes of Aaron Couch and Theo Baker in terms of the substitute pecking order. I will make one more sub around the hour mark, I think. So we'll give it a couple more minutes and see if any highlights come through first. All right, we've got one here. Williams to take the free kick now. It's a backstick ball towards Jack Harrison, the current real-life captain of #United. He's not in the series. It's Andy Cade Watts because he responded to me on Twitter that one time. It's a great ball in from Tom Williams. Good curve on it, good whip for this level. Harrison gets up backstick and he just gets it on target and the keeper is absolutely nowhere near it. I think 3 goals is a decent enough time to make a couple more subs. So let's have a look at... Actually, let's pause the game there and have a proper look at what we want to do. Dan Brown looks disinterested and is only on a 6.6. We'll give Daniel Adjie some time off the bench, though there is a massive gap between the quality of the two. I wouldn't say Ricky Evans is playing poorly, but what we might do is push Jack Harrison into midfield for the last half an hour and bring on Jamel Akeem to play at centre-back. With the loss of Tekka's Guru for a couple of months, we don't have that third central midfielder at the moment, so I'm going to have to kind of keep leveraging Jack Harrison's ability to play both centre-back and central midfield throughout the course of the series. But 30 minutes, let's see what the subs can do. If they can come on and either shore up the ship and get us through to the 90th minute with a 3-0 win, or if we can turn the screws a little bit more, push on. Actually, I might even use a shout and say, demand even more. We're 3-0 up and we missed a penalty. Love to get a 4th or a 5th, really put us on top of that league with a more positive goal difference than everybody else. Right from the off, spend the entire season at the top of that league the way that the media expect us to, the way the season preview expects us to. We have so much higher reputation than anybody else in this division and the next few divisions above that we shouldn't have many issues getting new players into the club. But I really want to be successful with this group, with this initial group of 20, with their current league squad. All right, I've got to throw in again here. Tom Williams to take. Most of our highlights have started with throw-ins and then quick transitions out. Lee Hurst can turn. He looks for a ball over the top. Daniel Argy will chase, but Hackett comes out and claims that one well. And then immediately we just get into this tight little cube. I'm really enjoying the way the defensive structures are set up in this year's version of the game. Harley now comes forward. It's back across to Alan Aimable, everybody's favourite winger. Akeem heads it away, but only as far as Aimable to Rufus, finds Howes. And they've had their first highlight, their first shot really in anger, and it's a goal from Connor Howes. Maybe Andy Cade Watts could have done better. Just looked a bit lethargic there, and I think it was on Jamal Akeem's side. It's his header away that doesn't go to anyone, but a bit lackadaisical across the board. And then it's Akeem, doesn't step to the man quick enough. I think it actually deflects off Akeem a little bit when Howes strikes it. And our clean sheet is ruined. Howes is running to get the ball, but I can't see them doing anything else. We dropped down to second with that goal, so I'd love to get another one just to push us back up into first spot. Maybe I shouldn't have said anything. I know that Sports Interactive listens through my microphone anytime I open my mouth while playing this game. We got another shout up our sleeves. We're getting towards the final 10 minutes now. Looks like Daniel Argy responded well to the feedback. Everybody else feels pressured by it, which is a bit frustrating. Doesn't look like Jamal Akeem has staked his claim for a regular start. When we were initially doing like our boards and our discussion about who was going to play where, he was going to probably start at right back. But I think Singano, again, has just kind of proved with his assist and his 8.4 rating that he's absolutely quality in that position. So we currently sit in second. Holland look like they're maintaining their 2-goal advantage with a 3-1 win. This would say us sit second behind White and Sign, given that they have scored 4. Unless, I don't think we have anything else in terms of shouts left. Let's just say push forward and see what everybody does. It'll only be for extra time, really, by the time it actually comes out from the dugout. Is there going to be any late drama to put us back on top of the table in this fixture? 5 minutes to be added, so there's more than enough time for us to get out there. Of their players, only Charlie Howes on a 7.1. Obviously, his goal contributed a lot to that. Looks like Harry Honesty with a double is our best on 8.8. And as already mentioned, Singano on an 8.5. Lee Hurst, Jack Harrison and Ryan Adams all over 7s. Jack Harrison's actually just gone to an 8.3, so he's rocketing up. 1 minute remaining. Surely the next highlight we see is just the end of the first match. And here it is. Of course, it starts with a throw into one of our fullbacks. Singano throws it in, and the referee calls full time. So, a fantastic performance. I know I said we wanted to be on top of the ladder, but a 3-1 win in the first game of the season is pretty fantastic. And I think we tell the team just that passionately. Very happy with the result and the way you played. No need to get down on anybody for a win and a victory. So, hashtag United hammer Newbury Forest. When you look at the 14-2 shot count, 61 to 39% possession, despite setting up in a counter-attacking style. Pretty phenomenal. What's the damage with Charlie Morley? He's going to be out for 3 to 5 weeks with a pulled calf muscle. I'm just going to give that one to the physio. Stevie CB, the best in the biz. We'll see what he can do. But you can see, like, we've only got a squad of 20. We've already got 3 players out with injuries. Charlie Morley, who'll probably be out for a few weeks. Tekka's Guru, 3 to 4 months. And Kane Brougham should be back in 2 to 3 weeks. And of course, Harry Honesty on form as hashtag United score easy victory. A double from him, a phenomenal performance. History-setting goal in a first league game and first goal for the club, which is absolutely fantastic. We have Wivenhoe Town in 6 days, so next Saturday. They are 16th after a 1-0 defeat in their opening match, which is a perfect time for us to be playing them. Magic of editing, though, I'm not going to make you guys sit through the next week. If anything massive happens, I'll let you know about it, but we'll jump ahead to that game now. Alright, straight into the Wivenhoe Town game here. Nothing massive throughout the course of the week. Harry Honesty was our best trainer, so I gave him some positive feedback. We sold 50 season tickets, which I think is fantastic for a team at level 10. Charlie Morley didn't recover from his knock in time. Kane Brougham still on light training, so he's a couple more weeks away. So the only change from the lineup last time out will be Tasha and Richmond coming in the right wing. Just to recap quickly, Williams and Singano as the fullbacks, Harrison and Stamp as the central defensive options, Evans and Hurst will anchor midfield, Ryan Adams will play at the 10, Honesty after his man of the match 2-goal performance in the last match will play on the left wing, Tash and Richmond on the right, and Dan Brown leading the line up top. If we look at Wivenhoe's side, they've got Kroll in goal, which is amazing rhyming, Stroud and Scantlebury as their central defenders, Blenkinsop and Saberton on the fullbacks, Nancy Kivil, we'll go with Nancy Kivil, anchoring midfield, Brown and Spindler will run the midfield for them, Reid on the left wing, Grimes on the right, Ferdinand up top. Pretty much the same structure we just played against for Newbury. I'm hoping it's a good match and a good balance for us. We continue getting those overloads in wide areas that we were so good at in the first game. And we're away from home, so I'm going to go assertive. Calm at home, assertive away, never steers me wrong. Carry straight on from where you finished the last match. And defence, we always try and give them a bit of a boost. I think there's a lot more to come from them. Completely believe they've got what it takes. I want them to get a clean sheet. That would be a perfect result today. But obviously, 3 points is paramount. As long as we keep winning games, we should be fine. Kicks off now. Is this going to be a kick-off highlight, or is there something to show for it? Richmond on the right-hand side. Can he get a cross in? It's a deep one in. Oh, and it hit the deck somewhere in the 6-yard box. You would hope that Dan Brown, being a 4.5-star poaching striker in this league, would be hanging around that area, but he doesn't get to it this time. White Ensign, funnily enough, drew their game, or are currently drawing their game against Fire United, so we get to watch the live league table here and see if we can kind of take back top spot. We only had it for a couple of minutes on Sunday afternoon last week before that late goal from Newbury, but I need to stop looking so far ahead. We just need to focus on getting our wins. 3 points is key and critical. Another highlight here, Harrison's going to take a free kick on the halfway line, played forward to Adams. He's got Evans at the base, who looks for a decent ball in behind for Richmond. Can he cut it back towards Dan Brown? He does, and it's a great first save, to be fair to their keeper. But Dan Brown, Fox in the box, first one to the rebound, and he pokes that one home for his first goal of the season. 34 years of old, but 4.5 stars, currently rated in this team. Tash and Richmond ethnicity is not correct. Dan Brown, decent first strike, and then he's the first to the rebound before the keeper can get back up, and he pokes it home from essentially 2 yards out. Not the prettiest goal, not one that I think we'll see in highlight packages throughout the course of the season, but certainly massively important because it puts us on top of the league. And to his credit as well, we should call out Tash Richmond with fantastic work on that right-hand side to get the ball back across. Took it all the way to the byline, kept it on the deck, easy finish. Hackney Wick have taken a 2-0 lead through Shane Vernon in their game, puts them up to 4 points. They may be a decent side in this league and division. Interesting though, Holland, who also won on their first day of the season and played at the same time with us last Sunday, aren't playing until tomorrow, so I think they're probably going to be a tidy looking side as well, and I quite like their whole Dutch kit. Alright, we're through 20 minutes now and we haven't conceded, which is absolutely fantastic. 5 shots thus far, 4 on target, 42% possession, but that's to be expected because we're set up in a counter-attacking style, and it looks like Wivenhoe is setting up a little bit differently. Not sure what feedback they've received, but fired up by the feedback. Seems to be the main response. I'd love to see in the next iteration, FM20, which is insane to say, that your assistant coach might say, I think their coach said this, and he's talking about whatever shouts they've just used or whatever opposition instructions they've just used. Because surely the benches aren't miles and miles apart. If someone's screaming something at somebody on the pitch, you'd be able to hear what they were saying. So it doesn't necessarily have to be an auto cue, it doesn't have to tell you directly what happened, but maybe your assistant can give you feedback on what you think they've just changed. In other games around the league, Coggleshall United have just taken a lead in their match. Pushes them up into 8th spot. Lopez Tavares are the only other team that looks like they are currently winning and won last week. Currently 1-0 against May and Baker. We've got another highlight here though, Williams to take. It's a throw-in, it's going to come out to Evans. He can reset again through Hurst, who's got more men out to his right if he wants to look. Instead he hangs one up for Harry Honesty to chase. He gets a ball back across towards Richmond. It's headed away by Grimes and cleared. Harrison should tidy up and does very well. Headed away, only as far as Ryan Adams. Back to Lee Hurst. That's a good reset. Singano's going to come forward. The winger isn't interested in tracking him at all. It's a strike from distance, and it wasn't a terrible effort, to be fair. For Singano, he's big, he's strong, he's getting forward at every opportunity, which is great to see. And of course, Williams, I think, is probably technically the best player that we have in terms of like his crossing ability and his touch and his passing. Did miss a penalty in the last game, but let's not focus on the negative with that. Singano plays the ball forward now. It's a long one in behind. Dan Brown's going to get there first. Can he find the finish? It's good angles from the goalkeeper and a really good recovering tackle from their number 5, whoever that is, to put that one out for a corner. Williams now to take. It's on the deck, and Richmond had found him at the back post, but he could only keep a low drive straight at Kroll in the Wivenhoe goal. But good signs. We're making some decent opportunities. They're still yet to have a shot in anger. But as we saw in the last match against Newbury, it really only takes at this level one decent opportunity for a team to get a goal. Braintree have gone 3-1 up in the first half of their game, which would push them up into top spot, going ahead of us with 4 goals for and 3 goal difference after winning their first game. So let's hope we can start turning the screws a little bit more and boost our goal difference a bit higher. Interestingly, they have conceded as well to Benfleet, so I'm not sure if Benfleet potentially have a little bit more left in them. But a decent first half performance, I've got nothing to complain about as we enter 2 minutes of injury time. Throwing now, Singano to take. So many of our highlights start with throw-ins, it's insane. Singano with a deep ball across. Honesty was in the area. Evans now plays it out to Williams. Can he find a decent cross in? Instead he resets to Evans. There is a crossfield switch on to Singano if anybody can pick it out. It's going to take a long ball. It's a deep one across to Taché and Richmond, and that is a fantastic volley, I think it was. Wonderful, wonderful cross just in that dangerous area at the back post, 6 yards out by Tom Williams. Taché and Richmond, let's find out here. Was it a diving header or a running header or was it a volley? Just well worked, just keeping possession, hangs the ball up. Taché and Richmond on the half volley, smashes that one into the top corner. Keeper did as well as he could to get across to it, but then just had to watch it sail past him into the back of the net. And that puts us back up on top of the league, which is awesome to see. 11 shots, 8 on target, 47% possession in 45 minutes of football. That is pretty good stuff. And quite a few players are performing very, very well. Pleased with your performance, lads. Keep it going. No need to complicate things at halftime. Just tell them that you're happy with them. Send them back out. And if things aren't working after 15 minutes, you've got your shouts, you've got different subs that you can use. They do say 2-0. The old, if you're playing cliche bingo, shout out to Alujo, if he ever happens to be watching, is 2-0 is the hardest scoreline to defend because you have that complacency of a 1-goal buffer. But from what I've seen, Kroll is their outstanding performer with a 6.9, albeit having conceded 2 goals. I don't think we're in massive danger. It's just about if we can manage the game, which is a tough thing to teach and it's a tough thing to replicate in Football Manager. Benfleet have pulled the goal back, so that will help. I can see goal difference becoming massive throughout the course of the season. But Lopez Tavares, Halstead Town, Braintree Town reserves, the only other teams that have won both their games so far. There are still probably, 30 minutes plus in each of those games remaining. And Holland, not forgetting, and Coggeshall both have games to play after winning their first round games as well. Looks like Williams has been our best performer thus far with an 8.1. Wivenhoe are starting to make some subs, so we'll look to make ours in a couple of minutes as well. In fact, let's do them now. Don't think Ryan Adams has had the greatest game. He's trying to figure out how to do that attacking midfielder role. Maybe we look at switching him to an advanced playmaker if it suits him a little bit better. We're going to give Aaron Couch some time on the right wing. Harry Honesty hasn't had the greatest game, to be fair, so I'm going to give Theo Baker some time as well. And we'll hold off on the third sub. We'll see where some of this condition's at with 10 minutes remaining because we might need to take off Hurst and Evans and push Harrison into midfield. We might take Harrison off and give Jamal Akeem some time. If Dan Brown gets another goal or 2, we may try and manage him a little bit and bring on Daniel Adji. So it's good that we have options. But again, we need to remain conscious of that central midfield area. I'm also going to use a shout and I'm going to demand more. We'll see how everyone responds to that once it eventually comes through. Oh, they're all focused, which is good to see. Ricky Evans a little bit complacent. He's only on a 6.8. Our lowest rated player with Andy Cadewatts, but I think it's good that Andy Cadewatts doesn't have a higher match rating because he hasn't had to do a tremendous amount. They have finally had a shot an hour into the game. They've now used all 3 subs. They've taken off a centre-back and brought on a striker, Anthony Dean. Scott Williams has also come on the left wing. Michael Seagot on the right full-back position. But I don't think it's done too much to turn the game in their tide. Or turn the tide in their favour. I don't know. I got confused then. Lee Hurst picks up his first yellow card of the season, which is to be expected. Central defender set to defend. He's actually getting decent match ratings. Just consistently 7.2s, 7.3s. Still only 21. One of the higher potential players in the team with the likes of Marcus Stamp and Charlie Morley. Alright, and immediately here we've got a highlight for Wivenhoe. Reed's coming forward. Are we going to recover possession? He's long ball forward, but it's cut out well by Stamp. Akeem plays it forward to Aaron Couch. Looks for a crossfield switch that probably wasn't on there. And Akeem will hopefully tidy up here at right back. Looks inside, plays a long ball forward. It's cleaned up by Stroud. Only as far as Tashane Richmond, who has had a fantastic game, to be fair to him. Probably been amongst our best in terms of highlights. Theo Baker now on the left wing. Can he get a ball in? Goes back to Williams. That deadly left foot finds Richmond at the top of the box. Can he get his strike away? He does. It is a low drive. Second goal of the season for Tashane Richmond, and a fantastic one at that. Look at him just take this touch around the defender and then smash it towards the bottom corner. Second assist for Tom Williams, but in reality, this is entirely Tashane Richmond's good work. Works himself a good angle. Kroll did get a hand to it, but I think it was pretty low and pretty powerful. And at this level, if you do that, you're going to score quite a bit. Sees us open up a 5-goal goal difference, which may be massive towards the end of the season. Blenkinsop now resetting play. Are we going to recover possession, or is it going to be a highlight for Wivenhoe? It's their first real one of the game. Dean gets a decent header, but it looked well and truly over. Even then, I think Cade Watts was in decent position to try and save it anyway. About 5 minutes remaining plus injury time. I'd be more than content just to get through with a 3-0 victory. First away game. Fantastic performance from Tashane Richmond. He's been absolutely fantastic. And probably looking at trying to integrate him into the side a little bit quicker. I know Morley's out for a few weeks, but Ryan Adams hasn't really set the world on fire in that attacking midfield spot. Braintree are 5-3 up now, so their game's toing and froing. Oh, Lopez Tavares have come out of nowhere and leapfrogged us with 8 goals and a +5 goal difference. What's the score in their match? They're beating May and Baker 5-1, though May and Baker have had Grayley sent off with a red card. So it looks like we're going to still win this game, but potentially go into the second weekend of the season still sitting in second spot, which is fine. Don't want to get ahead of yourself, and we're certainly not going to go through the season undefeated. Williams now, do we have a chance to add another one to it? He hits side netting, perhaps could have just hung a ball back stick. Very similar position to where Jack Harrison scored in the last game, actually. But I will take it. I'll take a 3-0 win. Player of the match, of course, Tashane Richmond. It's hard to go past him. Very pleased with the result and your performance. Everybody's responded positively to that, which is great. Our morale is starting to get everybody up towards the green, which is what we want to see. So interestingly, a late charge from White Ensign again gets their goal difference up to +5 as well. So we're sitting in third spot at the minute. Nothing to complain about. I think we've been great in our games. But it looks like there's probably a bit more quality around the league than we initially thought. But hashtag United, Hammer, Wivenhoe, Town. Very similar stat lines to the last game. 14 shots to their 3. 47% possession to 53% for Wivenhoe, but we are set up to counter-attack, so please keep that in mind. Singano's knock, he'll be out for about 8 to 11 days. Means we'll miss the next match, but it's not as horrible as it potentially could have been. We should also see Kane Bruin back in a similar time frame, though he's going to perhaps struggle to get in ahead of Jamel Akeem at the moment until he gets back to full fitness. And hopefully Charlie Morley is good for our next game. We can try and get him and Tashane Richmond out there together. Richmond, of course, fantastic performance, 2 goals for him, and our best player with a 9.2 rating at the end of that. Assertively, I'm just going to tell him, superb in front of goal, and he appreciates that, which is fantastic to see for one of our backup and squad players. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with the structure of my saves and my series, usually we just come back and do a couple of games each month. Given that we've done the first 2 league games of the season, we've pretty much covered off August, so we won't come back for the Benfleet game. I'm super tempted to do that White Ensign game, but what I think we'll do is come back for the Eastern Counties League Cup first round, and then the game against Frenford, because I think that'll be a big one. They're currently in 8th spot, they are playing away, but I think that's a decent point to get us towards the middle to end of September. Hopefully the league has tidied up a little bit more with 2 further games being played then. We'll have back-to-back weeks where we're playing cup fixtures, and it'll be a decent week with our first midweek fixture on that Tuesday night. More than anything though, thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you are enjoying the start to the series thus far. Feel free to like and subscribe to the channel if you want to be kept up to date on future videos, or alternatively, if you want to be kept up to date to all sorts of different Football Manager content and just what I'm doing throughout the course of the week. You can follow InTheMixer_FM on Twitter. There is a link to in the description below. But as always, I've been Sean, this is In The Mixer, and don't forget to hashtag it.